Alright, we're back. I'm back. You're still there. So I made sure I really clean this scooper out before I'm going to use it for the next run. So what we're going to do right now is speed dry this emulsion with a hair dryer. So put it on high, we're just going to move it around, dry it up, turn it to the other side and dry that up. So really simple. You can kind of see it changing a little bit when it's dried, and then you can see it kind of change, I don't know, color, but you know, I guess the shimmer goes away, right? It becomes more flat. So now you'll have some parts that's going to build up more in the edges than in the middle. So you want to just try to dry that part as much as you can before you turn it over to the other side. So just keep doing this for a while. Turn it over to the other side. That was exciting. And it looks good so far. There's no fish eyes. Okay, so we're just checking. Alright, and then we're just gonna put this and do the other two. Alright, we're back. The emulsion is dry. Now we're gonna put the vellum with the art design on it lined up in here. The way I set it up to have it fit into your plan, the micros are 3 inches off on the long side and 7/8 on this way, so that would fit the 16-inch by 15-inch plan, which is the way it's set up. When I created this on Photoshop, I kind of made sure that the top part of this design, it's about a hand length from the neckline of your t-shirt. Well, this is going to go on the back, but that's the same concept. It's going to go about 4 inches away. So if you just do the transparency with the laser printer, just want to make sure that the top part of your design, it's about, let's see, yeah, about 4 inches. And when I measured out the registration, I wanted to put the registration mark on the screen from, let me show you this, from the edge of the wood here to the marker on the registration screen is about 3/4 and 5/8. Excuse me, 3 inches and 5/8. That's what I meant to say. So when I make my designs, I make sure the registration marker is about a 1/2 inch, or let's see, 5/8, 3/8 of an inch away from the top of the design. So when this goes on to the plan with the measurement length of the micros, it should get around in the spot on the plan, and I'll show you that later when we start printing. But anyway, we need to tape this on here. We need to tape this on the reverse side. You don't want to have the image this way, since the t-shirts are going to go on, the screen is going to go on this way. You want to reverse the image. I just line up the markers that I made. So I made sure from the top part down is 3 inches and 5/8, and I measured the length between the edge of the wood here to the edge of the wood here is about 16 and 3/4. Half of that is 8 inches and 3/8. So you can just measure just to make sure. It's a little off, but you don't have to be exact, but that's why you have the micro registration. It's off maybe about 1/16. It's not that big of a deal, but if you did the same thing for each of the screens, then you'll just have to move it 1/16 of an inch. So you just line this up. Again, it doesn't have to be totally perfect. Just want to make sure it's straight when you put it on there. Check against the light to make sure it's okay. Move it a little bit. There you go. And do that to the other two, and we should be ready to expose. We tape the image into the screen, and we have the plant here, and I covered it with a black t-shirt so it doesn't reflect any light back. I have a 1/4 inch thick 20 by 24 glass, and I just cleaned it before I put it on here. We have the halogen mount that comes with the Gator 401, and this is the it's just like a $10 500 watt exposure unit as a UV, a work light. That's what it is, 500 watt work light. I unplugged the extension cord from the wall, so I'm going to be plugging it to the wall and then unplugging it when I'm done. I don't have a switch on there. So this is a really cheap setup to expose your image into the screen. If you're lucky enough to get a glass that's this cost me about $25. If you're lucky enough to find an old radio tower that had the glass opening that you can probably have somebody cut and smooth out the edges, you know, that's great. But for me, I couldn't find it, so I just went to buy a new one. Also, while I'm doing this, I have a fan here blowing air through the glass. The 500 watt work light has a lot of heat, so this will keep the glass from cracking. So we're going to turn this on for 4.5 minutes. I have a stopwatch here, and then right after that, have a wet sponge ready. Once the exposure is done, we can take off the glass, take off the vellum, and start wiping down the screen, start removing the emulsion within the positive image here. And then we're going to go to the shower. I have a nice little spray going on there. It's just the handheld tube with a shower head that has adjustable settings on it, so it has a little bit of a hard spray, but not too much. That's just in place of the pressure washer, so I don't have that. I just use that shower head. And so I guess we're ready to go. So let me just go and turn on the fan here. Turn on the light. And we'll start the 4.5 minute clock.